Hi, I'm R. Herrera,
And I'm Carelle Herrera.
and welcome to Stories of Strength, where we interview people who have overcome great challenges in life, and maybe we can learn a thing or two on how to thrive and not just survive, especially during difficult times.
We are life coaches and founders of Brain Strong Initiative. We've been helping people become more resilient, agile, and have better well being. We are the founders of Train Station, helping individuals. Our guest for today is Danah Gutierrez. She is a social media influencer, a multi awarded blogger, published author, an ex college teacher, a model, and currently a podcast host at Raw and Real, topping the local charts in iTunes and Spotify. She has been featured on Her Style Asia for the 30 Under 30 Women Changing the World. Hi,
Hi, Dana.
Dana. So earlier we told you that we wanted to showcase people who have displayed strength, who are seen as strong, and we really want to advocate these stories of strength so that maybe people could get inspiration from people like you. And I'm sure that there are a lot of people who know you. You're an influencer, so an extraordinary influencer. So maybe what we can talk about right now is, for you to share your story to the people out there.
Right.
And, 2 minutes, 3 minutes perhaps to just have a go at it and tell us what's your story.
Alright.
Who is Danah?
Okay. I love it. Thanks for having me. Thanks, RR and Carelle. So I was born and raised by a single parent. She got pregnant at 15, gave birth at 16 to twins, and we weren't well off at all. I've seen my mother struggle as a single parent and talagang kayod si madam. So ano talaga, I grew up knowing na you have to work hard if you want to live a certain way. And I'm grateful that my mom's hustle really gave me and my sister more than we needed in life. She really provided so much. And of course, there are pros and cons no when you're dealing with a single parent at such a young age. And I think that unraveled in my life when I became an adult. Kasi syempre, 'di ba, parang as a child, ano yan superhero mo yung mga yan, your parents, your family, your relatives. But when you grow up, you see na, oh, ito pala, meron din palang consequences yon. But yeah, we were enrolled in a private school, elementary, high school, and then we were raised by my mom with her partners. So my mom had girlfriends growing up, so that's what I thought that was normal. So I also, tried that out in high school. And then I think what one of the pivotal moments in my life was when I was in college and a friend shared the gospel to me, and that was the first time I've heard of the redemption story of for humanity and Jesus dying on the cross. And doon lang siya nag-click. I mean, I've been in a Catholic school all my life, but nung college, doon talaga this girl was so intentional to me, and what attracted me was really how she lived her life. And then also on the other um the other aspect of my life is, of course, being an advocate for embracing diversity, right, when it comes to bodies. So my sister, when we were in high school, she developed an eating disorder, and then that really took a toll in our family because it came to a point that she had to be admitted to a hospital. She nasa ano na nasa danger levels na yung binging and purging niya, her anorexia, bulimia, and then ako din naman, parang of course, when you're told na ano ba yan, maganda ka sana pero mataba ka all your life, all you want to do is to lose the weight, right? So, ang dami-dami yan, dami-dami ko pinagdaanan dyan. Lahat na lang ng pwede kong gawin to lose weight, ginawa ko na up until I did, right? But it was very detrimental. Like, I worked out, I became so obsessed with working out, and then ate very little. But yeah, I dropped the weight soon. And then, ano pa din parang if you're not resolved with who you really are, the physical may change, but the internal may not. So, nung finally, my sister was on her path to healing, and we were using therapy. My sister and I always wrote. That was just, we believe, one of our talents and gifts, and we always wrote for whatever, therapy, for school, for wala lang, comics, kung ano-ano lang. Gumawa pa kami ng choose your own adventure na parang Goosebumps nung elementary. Kasi ako yung illustrator, siya yung nagsusulat, ganyan. So mga ganyan kaming trip. Up until, we discovered the world of blogging. And, we were blogging even before blogging was a word. And
Yes.
we started at 14, 13. We started writing online, and it was all for fun. Up until, yun nga, my sister, she was like, hey, you know what? Maybe we should talk about um growing big in the like being big in the Philippines, right? I mean, that topic in itself has so much meat to hash out. So yun, we started writing, and then we started talking to people na kunwari, yung mga big girls sa school nung college na kami nito. Parang we like their sense of style, they carry themselves with confidence. We would feature them. As in, wala lang, trip lang. Gawa lang kami ng parang as a part of that website, part of that blog for features. And then I think what really gave us the big break was when Forever 21 launched in the Philippines, and they got me and my sister to model for them for their plus size collection. And then I think people were shocked at the idea of plus size models kasi hindi siya uso dito eh. And so that really snowballed into something big up until we were modeling for SM, doing ramp, doing billboard, and then doon na din kami naging very vocal on what we believe in when it comes to women's bodies. And that really gave us a huge platform to talk about what we believed in. And I think that's when we became quote unquote authority over the plus size community. That we pushed for inclusion in clothes, we pushed for inclusion in modeling, and then we got to judge the Eat Bulaga FHHM when they were looking also for plus size models. I think we really started that dialogue, and I'm very proud of me and my sister for being brave enough, because we weren't just because we're out there doesn't mean we're unscathed. I mean, we've gotten the worst of the worst body shaming comments online, like that you can imagine. Grabe. And then and then we were able to give talks to universities, give talks to corporations about this whole body self-love kind of thing. And then we were given an opportunity to write a book, so we also launched the book. But you know what, parang having gone through all of these accomplishments, right, ano din eh, we swung definitely to the opposite side of the spectrum, where it's like self-love, self-love, self-love na naging, I don't know, I'd say naging ano na siya, maybe abrasive even. So yun, me and my sister took a step back, and then we looked at what we've become, what we've made, and then we're like, I think we should go back to our faith, because that's the very thing that pushed us to speak up on beauty standards and all of these things. So kasi, 'di ba, madaling kumopya eh. And we were taking cues from the Western view on self-love and body positivity. And right now it's kind of a monster, right? Parang iba na yung language nila, iba na yung dialect nila. They're now very dismissive, very aggressive, very pompous even. And parang nung nadadala na kami doon, we're like, parang di na tama eh. Hindi na tama. And we were glad that people around us were kind enough, like my mentors then, and they would really question and argue with us even, up until we had to come to a conclusion na, you know what, maybe self-love isn't so biblical. Maybe self-care is, but kung saan kami nadala nun, it also humbled us. And it also made us really ask ourselves, is this what we want? Right? Parang that's why we took a step back, and then went through our own personal issues. Me and my sister went through our own separation season. And I really think we needed that, just so we can be more grounded and be more centered individually. So now we're doing podcasts at Raw and Real. So yun na lang yung ginagawa namin ngayon. Yeah, I sana umabot 3 minutes.
Grabe, ang dami. You've been through a lot, no? And
very unconventional.
Yeah.
Very unconventional life from the time that you were formed to the time that you were born and raised, diba? So,
pero anyway, what I'm curious about is, doon sa dalawang stories sa sinabi mo, it was easy to, just go through with it. But there was a point in both stories wherein you realized, uy, like with your mom, no, na parang, uy, akala mo that it was normal, Parang when was that point? What made you stop and say, wait, there's something
That I
not
need to
oh
change.
that's not normal here, or like you being carried by that body love or
Yeah,
diba?
body love narrative.
narrative, and then you also stopped there and you said that
Yeah.
parang, wait, this is not who we are, and I want to know what made you stop at that point. What was the trigger?
Right. I think, I'm a very outspoken Christian girl online. I mean, that's
Yeah.
who I am.
Yeah.
And I'm a Christian first before I'm a woman. And that really made me rethink the options and the decisions I've done in the past, whether it be with boys, whether it be with girls. So siguro yung naging turning point was, and I was very young here. I was very young then. Nung na-experience ko na yung nung nagka-boyfriend na ako, and really understanding and digging deep into, nung nagka-boyfriend kasi ako, hindi pa ako Christian noon eh. Up until, yeah, it was really me, embracing biblical truths and understanding why they were there. Kasi ako din naman, I grew up, not believing in Christianity eh. I've done Taoism, I've done cults. My grandmother would take us, me and my sister, we would go to the province and like attend these rituals and be all like, what is this? Up until, she's done Brahma Kumaris, like all of these groups, right? Religious groups. And dumating ako sa point na, you know what? I don't care anymore. Parang if I look at my grandmother's altar filled with 6 different gods and bote ng mga kung ano herbs, parang, you know what? I give up. Ayoko nang maniwala because no one really walked me through the reason and logic aspect of who God is and who Jesus is. But when it locked, nung nag-click na siya in my mind, I'm like, this is it. I
Yeah.
got it.
Uh-huh.
I got it. So,
Actually, sobrang
that was it
natatawa
for
lang ako.
the...
Lang ako, may
Ano?
insight ako dyan. Kasi halos pareho kami ng background. Yung parang maraming religion, meron kami mga espiritista sa pamilya. So, meron mga nilulublob yung kamay sa kumukulong mantika. Tapos maggaganyan-ganyan. May
ganyan. Nakita ko lahat yan, madam. Napagdaanan ko rin yan. And I think, when we started the body positivity revolution, the idea was, we are fearfully and wonderfully made.
Mm-mm.
And that verse in itself is pointing to God. Pero ang ginawa namin, we took it and pointed it to us. So I think that's where the context was muddled, right? So it was all about self-love, your abilities, na parang wala akong pakialam, kahit mataba ako, I'll wear this. Parang, you know what, all those things are good, sure, to a certain extent, but too much of anything is a bad thing. And so when my sister and I, no parang, mga Christian friends din, I think that's the beauty of having good, godly friends is, they know when to get you and push you towards your anchor again eh. So yun, parang, my mentor would ask na, okay, in this article you wrote, I have questions, and we would like get into a debate, pero at the end of it, my point. And so I couldn't let that go. Parang sure, I can put on a show and perform and do all of these good things, but at the end of the day, I can't fool myself when it's just me alone in my room, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yun, I think those are the things that made me rethink na parang, shucks, okay, are we still even being faithful to the call that God has set before us? Or we've just totally abandoned Him and ran our own course? So nung nag-usap kami ng sister ko about it, I think it was painfully humbling, to declare publicly na we no longer support this, we no longer believe in this, and yeah, so I think people need to understand that it's okay to say that you no longer advocate for certain things and then explain why. And I think that resonated with our audience even more because many of the Christian followers we have has expressed their relief and their parang they're like, we've been praying for you. Like strangers would message and say, actually, napansin namin na nag-iba na, so we were praying for you and now we're back. And I think we're much more grounded than before.
Recalling yung mga nasabi mo rin earlier about what you've been through and, the pivots you've made, to turn your life around. I think that's very empowering because you were given norms. You were given situations na you could have chosen not to get out of it, right? You could have chosen not to be a different person and sulk in one corner and just say I'm fat. I mean, pwede yun, di ba? Oh,
Yeah.
wawa naman ako. Or, but you turned it around. You turned the narrative around. Maybe my question is, RR asked you already, what were the turning points? I think I would want to direct the attention once again to what do you think if you were to describe the turns that you've made, the decisions you've made, what would you describe as strengths of Danah? Like, how do I know that Danah is strong? What made Danah strong?
Wow. I think to answer the latter question, what made me strong? All the times I failed. And all the times I relied on myself thinking, I got this. only para lang pumlakda ako on my face, right? So I think may patterns kasi ako especially when it comes to relationships. And I think that's what made me also question na, totoo bang self-love to? Bakit ganito ako pumili ng ba't ganito ako sa lalaki? Parang bakit ganito ako sa mga relationships ko, lahat toxic? Or parang, well, most of them are, right? Na parang, I'm this accomplished, quote-unquote, confident, independent girl. But at the end of the day, I still self-abandon for attention. Bakit? Diba? So, may mali And I think when you're aware of these things, and siguro yun nga, yung paulit-ulit na pattern na I go for a guy who I know will reject me. And I know you guys know this because, we're friends long enough and, you coach me. So, yung pattern ko na ganon, diba, na sobrang may gusto akong lalaki na alam ko naman hindi naman niya ako type, pero I'll give my arm and bend my back for him. And then, pag hindi niya na-meet yung ganong level of pagka-OA ko, ako naman yung durog na durog. And, when I was going through this pattern, I'm like, Danah, something isn't right. Parang, and I think, yung time na ginawa ko yung sinabi kong never ko gagawin when I was at my lowest point. And that's the first thing I held on to for some semblance of comfort and quote-unquote love. Yun na yung lowest point na na-experience ko in my life na kagagawan ko Kasi pinili ko yun Diba? Sure, the circumstances before that were not in my control, but me responding that way was that's on me. And when I saw how ugly I was in that state and how miserable I let myself be, yun yung doon ko na-realize na, Danah, you can't rely on your own morality because you think you know what's good but you don't. And doon ako talagang I cut off that relationship and then started going back to my faith. I mean, at the end of the day, wala rin naman ako mapuntahan right? I can go to my for comfort, I can go to my friends for comfort, but at the end of the day, there's really only one that can satisfy the longings of my heart, and that's Jesus. So, yun, parang balik lang ako sa faith ko, obeyed, really was so humbled. Kasi when I'm going through bouts of toxic relationships, I can't speak I don't put myself publicly because there's so much shame and there's so much just the self-dialogue now. Oh my gosh, I'm such a hypocrite. I try to empower women, but here I am so disempowered with this boy, right? So sabi ko, you know what? No, I'm not even gonna focus on other people and empowering girls. I'm just gonna focus on me and my walk with the Lord. Because wala durug na ako. And I think that's where my strength lies. In knowing that that it's not me and I have nothing to prove. It's all the work of God on the cross. And yun, parang ngayon naiintindihan ko na yung in my weakness, He is strong. Dati kasi parang pag nag-workout, in my weakness, He is strong. But it's not that context. It's really when yung talagang plakda ka na, durog ka na, and babangon ka pa din because you know that there's a better story that awaits.
Oh,
And
wow.
and here we are.
I know. I know. And it's so interesting because even if, we know bits of your story, we know, parts and parcels of your anecdotes, kumbaga, but to hear it from this point of view of just looking at you from a perspective of what makes you strong, from a perspective of what are the choices you've made to make you strong. And I don't know if you'd want to pick on this because the word shame is something that is
Oh
very
yeah.
common to so many people. When they say shame, yeah, ang daming layers yung shame na yan. How were
Especially in this social media
Oo eh,
era. So yeah, it's a big thing.
how did you make yourself stronger though to overcome or face shame?
Right. Alam mo yung hindi kasi ako parang dati lagi akong may ano sasabihin nila, yung people pleasing ba? That was a very thick wall around me, eh. Just the desire to please and please, and of course we can trace back where this comes from with our caretakers and how we were raised and how we were nourished and how love was modeled to us, right?
Yes.
And if the language is always nakakahiya ka, wala akong anak na ganyan, or um, hindi kita pinalaking ganito para maging ganyan, when you make mistakes, it leaves a mark, eh.
Yeah.
And our parents really set out the tone for the kind of person we'll put on, right? Whether it be our attachment style or our character, yun talaga eh. Very, very foundational, very critical. So, I think nung time na, ako naman kasi I keep it raw and real all the time. Parang, ang sa akin is, if I bash myself first, naunahan ko lahat. Ano mo yun? Parang logic na, sa akin naman galing kaysa sa iba pa na mali-mali rin naman yung lalabas. And I realized talaga na God values vulnerability because that's where He shines.
That's right.
Kaya hindi na rin ako masyadong nag-isip na pag sinabi ko to na naging side chick ako or pag nilabas ko yung baho ko, parang hindi eh. That's me being human eh. And that's where Jesus comes in to fill the gaps and really teach me and help me navigate through my karupukan, right? Kaya ngayon, I'm like a staunch advocate for females taking back their confidence in Christ, because you'd be surprised at how many influencers message us and walk up to us and say, just pour out all their insecurities. But when you see them online, they're like this poster child for hot girl summer. But when you talk to them, it's so different. Like, parang, who is this girl? Parang may mismatch.
Right.
And so, sabi ko, I don't want to live that way. I want people to know that I'm not gonna be another, I don't know,
Poser.
another poser on social media. I don't want to be, because ang dami na nun eh. I think what the voices that we need online are like you guys, authentic, honest, real people who are very much passionate about the things and you want to share them. And I think that's why we jive so much. Parang, we're ganun eh, di ba? Ano pa bang gagawin natin? Magplastikan? Parang sayang naman yung platform. Kung puro puwet at boobs ko lang ipapakita ko sa inyo.
That's interesting. I want to talk about, kasi once you make that decision, a lot of people think, madali na. You've made that decision. Everything should be clear. And the way the things that I'm hearing from you, it's still not going to be easy, right? It still wasn't easy for you. Like, you would have detractors still. Ayun, I want to go this direction already, but there will be people who will still put you down. And how did you deal with that?
I think eyes on the prize ako palagi eh. And when people say things or whatever, we've gone through it. Siguro, the ironic part about that question as I answer it is when my sister and I were mainstream, like we were out there, with celebrities and all of these influencers. Mas madami kaming detractors. Mas maraming haters. Pero now that we've taken ourselves away from that and really created our own and really just showed the world na, hey, this is me and my sister's world. If you wanna come in. If you don't, then don't. Parang, alam mo, talagang nag-lessen siya. But that doesn't mean that I don't have challenges and struggles. Parang, I still have to beat my demons and slay them, right? You know, people always think na, buti ka pa confident or buti ka pa kaya mo isuot yan or, you know, these comments na parang you'd think, that doesn't mean I'm immune to them. That or, you know, when people say na, you're so strong, Miss Danah, that doesn't mean I don't cry myself sleep sometimes when I'm lonely. Parang, you know, I'm still very much human, but the thing right now is, hindi ko na siya identity. Dati kasi niyayakap ko yung mga yun eh. Like I cuddle them, you know, I'm always gonna be the rejected girl and, you know, just
feed the drama.
yeah, feed the drama, like, you know, but now it's like, no, I am single for a good reason. The Lord has put me in this season to be purposeful and no more sulking. Let's get productive, you know. Sure, the loneliness may come,
Yeah.
but, you know, it comes and it goes.
I think that is such a powerful process that you're doing and that, you know, is evident and hopefully people can learn from what you've just shared. It's not about, you know, it's really being able to process things, being able to challenge yourself and say, you know, if this is the situation, what can I do about it? What can be done? Now, I would want to do this. Yung parang para tayong nagko-coaching din dito. I'd be asking you a question and from an objective stance, I want you to see Danah.
Okay.
And I want you to answer this question. How can you say she's strong? What are the things that you can, you know, appreciate about her, pinpoint looking at her, pinpoint it one by one? What is so strong and great about her?
Do I speak in third person too?
Yeah. Let's do this. Danah is.
Okay.
You know.
Okay. Danah is strong because she knows, because she can forgive and love again, no matter how painful, you know, a fault was or, you know, a situation was that someone brought about in her life. She can still forgive and love again. And I think that's strong. I don't think it's weakness to, I mean, when things can be repaired, diba? Let's go with that. I think she's strong because she has finally learned from her mistakes and is doing the best she can not to repeat them again. And I think she's strong because she can speak the truth no matter what the world says. You know, parang I think she's got a good grasp on what the truth is, and she's really gonna tell people about it in a way that is palatable. Palatable ba yan? Para naman ma-enjoy naman nila. Yeah, and I think she's strong because she's willing to try out new adventures, even if it means uncertainty and unfamiliarity.
You know, this is so interesting because based on studies.
That's it.
Based on studies yung sasabihin ko, parang very objective.
Ganda.
People who are resilient, people who have displayed strength and grit, they're the types of people who are able to take charge of their situation. They're the ones who are able to accept their givens in life and be able to know what they are in control of. And be able to move forward. And I think the act of forgiveness, you know, and you being able to forgive no matter what has happened is a very strong characteristic indeed, no? And being able to point out also that, you know, you gather information because resilient people, they gather information, they try to know as much as possible and be able to speak out, use that information to help others, to help themselves. And in your stories, that's what I've been seeing. I really like spotting the behaviors that you've been displaying in your life that shows strength. Anything that you'd like to add?
Uh, there's a reason why you're here, and you're one of the few guests that we have, and it's because I think a lot of people can learn from you, and a lot of people can get, a lot of people are going through or have gone through the same thing, and they just need to hear someone say, you'll be fine, and these are the things that helped me. So thank you for sharing your story and how you got here.
To recap, let's give you a couple of pointers for strength.
People who are strong or resilient, based on the study of positive psychology, are people who can see what they can control and accept what they can't control. She did something about the things she can't control, like to get her to a better place. She advocated, created a voice, put herself out there. She wrote, she pivoted, and turned her narrative around.
Strong people don't have the perfect circumstances. They have made wrong decisions. They have been broken, they have been crushed, and they have experienced shame. But they seek information and they help themselves. And as they have experienced shame, they bring it to the light. Just like what Danah did. She got more informed, she learned about who she really is, and brought that to her faith.
A strong person also has meaning. Again, according to neuroscience and positive psychology, people who have meaning have better well-being. The reason why they keep on is because of that meaning behind why they do what they do. Her faith has been her compass in designing her life, for her to be able to forgive and rise again.
Please like and subscribe.
And we hope to see you again in our future Stories of Strength.
See you.